Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and we're back this week with another Take My Money, where we look at some current games and crowdfunding sites, mostly Kickstarters this week, but one game found project.
Yes.
And we talk about whether or not we think they look good, think they look worth backing, or um, kind of what our thoughts are on them. Not necessarily knowing a ton about any of them, but
Yeah.
just our initial thoughts. Let us know in the comments below if there's any that you're currently backing, any games, or any that you're currently looking at. And we'd love to take a look. I know we do a lot of looking, but not buying. We do a lot of window shopping.
It feels like we bought a lot this year, but still, like, not very small percentage as to how many we've actually looked at.
Hmm.
But I would say that I have been interested in a very high percentage of the ones we've looked at. So I'm proud. I'm proud of us for holding back, maybe like 80,
I would agree.
90% of the time.
I would agree. But
But
yeah,
not a lot of
so
people holding back here with this first
no,
one.
definitely not. This is definitely the biggest project of the week,
Yep.
and it's probably been the most controversial and talked about crowdfunding project in a while. I think it's at least, I don't know. I think it sounds like there's usually some kind. I don't use Reddit, but apparently there's like usually some controversy, board game controversies there quite often. But I did hear about this one, and a lot of people, a lot of content creators were talking about it or got talking. Yeah, and you can probably look that up and find it pretty easily. I don't know if it's addressed here any or at all, but I was interested when I saw this, and weirdly at first I thought it was when I first heard the name, I thought it was related to the Aeon's End,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
Legacy, or well, I think there's two. I thought it was like an expansion to that, but then I did not
Yeah,
realize
me too.
it. Aeon Trespass, which was also a game from before, and I guess was it Odyssey before? Yeah, second printing, so it was
Yep.
always Aeon Trespass Odyssey, and it's got a rating of a 9.3,
Yes. Yep.
which that part got me a little excited. It is a big game. I think
Yes.
you can probably kind of tell that by
Epic.
the almost 7,000 backers and almost 2.7 million dollars.
2.7. Wow, that is a lot of money. So yeah, our biggest and by far project that we are covering this week.
Hmm.
And yeah, so this is, as you can see there, a campaign game with 300 plus hours of content.
Hmm.
So just right away from that, I'm just like, okay, this is like a Gloomhaven type of game. And I looked at it. Obviously, I don't know exactly how it plays, but looking at it, it did seem to be similar to that. Cooperative as well. Only 90 minutes a session here, so I don't know if that's true. I would think since it's a second printing, they could maybe adjust that to be accurate, but who knows if that is an accurate number.
Right. Yeah. Usually it seems like things aren't as accurate and maybe sometimes doesn't include. Not sure for this one, but it seems like big games like this usually have a large setup time and teardown time. And it's
Yeah,
kind of one of those things where
that's
it's
true.
like, okay, are we willing to kind of pretty much just play this game for the next week or two or
Yeah,
month
just
possibly
keep it
because
set up.
just the
Yeah.
bear to tear down, set up, tear down.
Yeah.
So unless you have, I guess you could have like maybe a table, board game table where you can kind of leave one underneath and then put the top on it or something. So then you kind of two
Mm,
areas to do games. Maybe then you could have it that way, keep it stored.
yeah.
But yeah, I was still interested in this one. I don't. Um, I think when I was looking through this, I was like, well, if I did, I would probably get that smallest one and
Yep.
just that. What is it, Heracles
Yep.
pledge? Um, just because I figured it says it's 150 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of how many games I've actually played like more than even 10 hours of percentage wise in
Yeah.
my collection in the collection.
Yeah, I mean, you think like games can be so long, like up to 2 hours, but still, those ones are the ones that are so hard to get to the table, that it probably is very few that we actually, like you said, get over that 10-hour mark
Mhm.
of playtime.
But yeah, but
So
usually,
that's
I mean, if it's a story-driven game, kind of like this one, sometimes it is easier to kind of keep you going and keep you interested in what's the next kind of thing we're going to be doing here and whatnot. Um, but I think this one made it, from what I've heard and read, uh, I think the rules, kind of the keeping up with the rules on this one is kind of a little bit of a bear. So,
yeah,
and I feel like that's something that kind of isn't my favorite when I've got to go constantly back to the rules and stuff.
yeah,
Especially if
yes,
I've played it for, I don't know, if I'm 20 hours into this one, I would be like, yes, maybe I'll, come across new things and, might have to add in a thing or two, learn a new thing or two. But it sounds like even after that long, it could still be difficult sometimes to remember certain rules, especially if you're not playing it like consistently and just keep playing this game. If you kind of take a break and then come back, it's one of those. It sounds like it's a bit of a bear.
yeah. I that's could be a. I mean, not gonna back this either way. It's quite expensive, but I mean, if I was really interested, I think that could be a deal breaker potentially.
Mhm.
Just the constant rules checking because we played too many bones, and for our first play of it, there was a lot of rules checking, and then the second play when we were a little more comfortable, I would say what increased my kind of overall rating of the game by
Mhm.
like 2, 3 points. It was a huge difference just not having to rely so much on going back and checking the rules. Not that it was a total breeze, but if it does have that issue continually into, like you said, 20 hours into the game, if you're still checking, that could be a problem, especially when it's something that feels like a campaign, an immersive experience more than
Mhm.
some games that are just more mechanical, point salad games where it doesn't really matter if you're taken out of it. I could see that hurting a game like this a little more.
Right. Yeah. But I will say, even with that, I'm still kind of like there's a part of me that's like, oh, this looks so cool, and people have it rated so highly that to me, if there is that, at least because I tend to trust Tom Vassel's opinion on things a decent amount, and he was one that said, I mean, I think he had said recently that um, the longest he had gone without having to look at the rules was 30 minutes. Um, and I guess that was recently after already playing it for I don't know how many hours he'd played it for. But it's kind of like, I just don't know if I want to dedicate that much time to it. But it does seem like one of those that you probably have to put that time into it to get that rating out. I don't think it's one that you
Yeah,
can like you're gonna maybe feel it like you said, like too many bones.
yeah,
You're probably not gonna feel it after your first session or two sessions, even maybe,
yeah.
or possibly even three. Maybe you will. But yeah, it does have a lot of stuff. As you can see, it's the never ending stuff, never ending
Yeah.
page here.
It's the scroll bar. We've been scrolling just continuously this whole time. It's um, not even like a third of the way down. But yeah,
So I don't know if there's even who knows what's at the bottom. Could be
who
anything.
knows? Who
Could
knows?
be a promo code
It's the
for free
risk.
game.
I did jump down to the risk, and that's just a little section. Just one little scroll gets by the risks.
We have
Oh,
no
all
risk.
this good stuff. Just a little risk. But yeah, it does look really cool. Just exploring a map, kind of making me think of like Seventh Continent and Destinies, um, like choices. Apparently, they it will remember your choices that you make, then these cards that come up. All of that looks cool, as well as combat, which it sounds like it just ramps up and you get even more powerful. And as you get damage, it doesn't weaken you and make it less fun. It just gets more and more powerful, which brings to mind Cthulhu, Death May Die, where you're just getting closer to death and getting more madness, but you're also getting more powerful. And so there are things that do sound interesting here, but just a little too much of an investment for me personally.
Mhm. Yeah,
But yeah, I'll just kind of scroll down through all this, all the
yeah, and then I
content.
think, yeah, if you got everything, I think this one is quite pricey as well. Um,
Yep.
I don't know how I didn't
So
look how many people are at each level.
about 1,000 at that first pledge and then bump it up, which includes
Little
four
extra
five
stuff over
hundred.
there.
Second pledge to go all in.
Fate's Pledge.
Um,
Ooh, one left of
One
500.
left. You could be the one, Zach.
Yeah, I think this one where they kind of had. Um, I don't really fully understand why, but they had a like it's not really an early bird, but it's kind of an early bird. Maybe it was actually cheaper. I don't remember. So these are some more
All
400,
gone.
1,000 backers at 447. And
Yeah.
people are putting a lot of money
Yes.
into this one. So yeah, I hope it's good for those people, and I hope they're able to play it. This one, like you said, this one looks very exciting to me. It could be an amazingly great game, but yeah, just that time investment is just tough. And there's just so many of these like huge epic campaign
Yeah.
games, and
Yeah.
seems like seems like everyone kind of likes their own, and it's like, do I dedicate that much money and that much time into one that I may not like as much when maybe this is the one that I would like a lot.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell with these kind of what if it's going to be 100% for you or not.
Yeah. Yeah. It is tough because there are just so many and so many highly rated. And yeah, shipping here as well is going to be pretty expensive. Obviously, it's a huge game.
Mhm.
But yeah, do wish we had some friends that would just like go all in on all these different games, and we could just be like, oh, I'll see which ones we like. Jump
Right.
in for a little game here, which, like you said, probably not the best way to play this. You do have to commit all that time
Right.
to get
If,
that back out of it.
Taylor, if you're watching, you have to back this at the full pledge,
Get the $500 pledge, and
and
then
then we'll
here's the
play it.
rest.
A little bit of risk,
Just a little.
but no, it's being pretty successful. So hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah.
And then we got one that's a little bit smaller. Still got
Less risky.
less risky,
Here.
but we
It's
got
just
1,600 backers, so that's not too bad.
yeah.
But yeah, the game itself is a little bit cheaper,
Yep.
slightly cheaper,
Just
cheaper than the shipping of the last one.
$7. There we go.
But I believe is it a print and play?
Yeah, you get a digital download.
Yep.
So this is kind of a print and play roll and write game for 1 to 100 players, not 100, just 100. By Scott Alms, who I believe he did the Tiny Epic
Tiny Epic series, I think.
series of
Mhm.
games.
I think so, and I think he's in like the Claim
Yep.
to all those games. I can't remember.
I
I think he's done a lot of games.
Yeah, which I have enjoyed those ones that I know are him, and there could even be other ones that I played that are his. So I enjoy his designs and enjoy roll and write games. But
Mhm.
I think this one we've not, or maybe have you printed and played any games? I have
I have
not.
not.
I've
I
looked
haven't.
at them before and kind of done them on the phone. I think I did that for Rolling Realms when that was kind of a print and play
Mhm.
still, but
Yeah, I might
that's
have
the
done it
most
like
I've
one
done.
time for Rolling Realms early on, but yeah, not really anything else. So yeah, that's the tough part for me here is uh, our printer isn't great, and I guess I don't know. Maybe if anyone watching knows more about kind of the print and play things, do you have a special printer for that? Do you just use a normal printer? How do you usually go about printing kind of these games out if you do not only like any on Kickstarter, but maybe on Board Game Geek? Because I think there's probably a lot of good ones there too that people just put out there for free even. And yeah, I just don't know enough about it, and I know our printer is not the greatest, so I
Yeah,
don't know how to uh, if just printing on normal paper is works or if that's just kind of doesn't feel as good. I don't know.
yeah. But this one does look nice. I like this board. That's exciting. Kind of just exploring it. It looks polyomino-y look to it, and Doesn't look overly new or innovative. I don't know exactly how it works,
Mhm.
but it does look nice. If this weren't a print and play, I'd be decently interested in this space theme. I don't know if we have any space rolling right. I guess Twilight Inscription we have, but I think that's a little more.
Welcome to the moon.
Oh, welcome to the moon, which you played without
Flipping
me.
right.
I just found out.
Started.
Um,
You
start.
can join in. You can join in.
Get
You
to
just won't be the
upgrade to
captain.
different. I'm
You'll
the
be one of
captain
these
now.
red shirts.
I'm the captain now.
Whatever that means.
Oh boy, I'll let you be the red shirt. He doesn't even know what that means.
But yeah, I like the artwork of the board. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I
do
don't
like.
know that the characters are my favorite look, personally. But
Um,
I mean,
I
it's probably fine.
I like him. I like him. Ooh, the code is covering this.
I did not know he was looking or did that one, so might have to look at that. Maybe I'll
But
have to
yeah,
ask old Alex what he does, how he prints his
the
print and
final
play.
frontier. I'm always interested. They cover the words in some of these, and I'm like, I can't decide if I like it or not because sometimes I really do have a hard time seeing what it
Telling what's
says,
going on.
figure out what the tagline is.
Mhm.
But yeah, I yeah, probably won't get it. Probably pretty low risk, I would think here. Obviously,
No, I'm
only
guessing it's
$7,
already
five
down there.
euros. So if you want another roll and write or just interested in Scott's games or any space game, I would definitely give this one a look, give it a try. Uh,
Mhm.
looks solid. Yep. Onto our one game found
Oh boy.
project. That is El Burro, a La Granja game, which
Yes,
we have not played. La Granja.
we have not. We have not. I'm actually a little surprised that we haven't. That seems like a one of those dry, themeless
Right up
Euros
your alley.
that I would want.
Yes.
And I would if I had the chance, I'd probably play it. That's not on Board Game Arena, is it?
I was just going to ask you that. It
I
seems
don't know
like
if
it
it seems
has a.
like it would be, but
I feel like they have a few of those kind of classic games. But I'm not sure if this is one. If that was one of them. But
I
yeah,
don't
this
remember.
is kind of a standalone type sequel to that,
Hmm.
um, which I like how they say in the very popular Lagrange family of games that it's the second one, and I'm like, was it really a family of games if it was just one until now?
That's
Um,
true.
but yeah, multi-purpose cards and dice drafting like
Hmm.
Lagrange, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong and making a fool of myself, but I don't know what it's like in that, but I know that I like multi-purpose cards and you like that more. And
Hmm.
I think we both like dice drafting quite a bit,
Hmm.
uh,
That makes me
which
think of either like Grand Austria Hotel or Coimbra or something. Um, but yeah, I like those quite a bit.
yep.
And
So just
from the little I looked at this one, I didn't know exactly what was going on. It does
yeah,
seem like you're using dice in action spots, kind of
yep.
similar to Grand Austria Hotel. Doesn't
Yep.
necessarily make the action, or does it make it stronger? I guess
Um,
I wasn't
it,
sure of that.
I don't. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, you'll roll the dice and put them around this action wheel, and then you'll choose them. Um, you take turns choosing them and taking the action that it corresponds to. Not sure if it does make it stronger, because in a two-player game, I think it's said that you re-roll until you do not have any pairs. Otherwise, just until you don't have three of a type,
Hmm.
which would make me think that it doesn't make it more powerful if they are
Right.
removing that.
Forcing that, yeah.
Yeah, maybe, or at least that's what it sounded like. I could have gotten that wrong. But yeah, so this board doesn't. It looks like a lot of other
It does look.
um, games of that type, classic Euro games, which
Mhm.
I could see liking that look if like I just really love those types of games. I think this one looks nice for that style, but not one that particularly excites me.
Yeah, it does look like a classic Euro look. It does have a little life to it, a little life, a
Yep,
little more life because a little green and blue in there.
yep,
But from the cover, I guess I would expect like the cover looks like it's gotten. I don't want to say with the times. I think you can have a game look like
Yeah,
an older game because you might be going for that feel.
yeah,
Because there are a lot of those classic heroes that have a look,
yeah. I could
um,
see this
but they're very
being
good.
from the board being released like 20 years ago, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all.
Mhm,
I just feel it just feels like you said classic.
mhm,
But yeah, this it does look a little more deluxe and flashy in the cover.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah. At first, that's what because I haven't played. I was wondering if this one at first was kind of like a updated version of it of the original game or something, and kind
yeah,
of I don't know what the original board looked like, so I thought maybe this was like a fancier version, kind of like Castle of Burgundy just recently had
yeah,
Awakened Realms, kind of go back and freshen it up a little bit. After I
yeah,
think the anniversary edition was not everyone's favorite. I think everyone was thinking that was going to be kind of the
mm,
big, oh, they're going to spice it up now, and then it really didn't meet the expectations. I think,
yeah,
but then I
yeah.
think the newest one did a little bit more. I'm sure there were people that still didn't like it, but uh, yeah, but this one, yeah, does have a very classic feel to
Yeah.
it,
It's got a
and
lot of wooden pieces here. There's only one edition here, and that is going to be looks like 79 euros, which is a little expensive, I would say, for what, like you said,
yeah,
feels like a lot of classic Euro games. It's not too expensive, I guess, but um, does feel like a little more. But I I thought that before I scrolled down and saw all of these components, which I thought a lot of them would be cardboard, like these different tiles
mm-hmm.
here, but they are apparently wooden pieces. So I
No,
think that explains a little more as to why it's just slightly more
that's
expensive to
true.
me. Because I would not have expected these to be wooden, all these different
Right.
bonus tiles, maybe the meeples and things like that, but not all these. So that definitely caught my attention and surprised me when I was scrolling through this.
Yeah, I do like wooden pieces. That kind of makes me think of the. So I was just looking at this today. The raw retail version, I think, just went as a new arrival at Miniature
Rah,
Market
rah, rah.
for $35. So I was like, I'm gonna actually check to see what the retail version is versus the um, deluxeified because I couldn't remember. I had to go to the. I think I went to the website and I still wasn't 100% sure what the difference was. So then I
Mm,
went back to their campaign and the deluxe version was kind of had similar tiles to that or the tiles that you get in raw,
uh,
and those were wooden versus the retail it's a cardboard.
mm, yeah,
So
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
yeah, that one was I think at least I think that was 90, but that was on their website. So I don't know if you could get it for cheaper for the deluxe. Probably, maybe
yeah,
somewhere. I didn't. I don't think Miniature Market had it, but there might be somewhere you could get it for cheaper. But so if that's the case, then this one, I mean, since it's what 80 euros, you said it's probably around
yeah,
90 bucks or something.
yeah, yeah,
So it's about the same then.
yeah,
And those are both classics. That's even more of a classic.
yeah,
Raw, I think.
sure. Got a nice dual layered board here, which has all these open slots, which are used by these multi-use cards, which just by themselves look kind of busy there, but it
Yeah.
explains it, I guess. You can put it on that side of the board, that side of the board, on top of the board, at the bottom of the board. I do like the multi-use nature
I,
of the cards, but I don't know if that would be overwhelming having
yeah.
those.
I
Um,
do like I like multi-use cards quite a bit. I think Garfield Games is probably one that uses them quite a bit that I really like, and they seem to do a really good job. That one looks a little bit busy, but I think that might be one where you have to kind of play it to see if it ends up feeling like it, or if it feels like, wow, this was really smart that they did this.
mm,
Um, I don't know. Um,
yeah, yeah.
but
Try it
yeah, that
yourself
too.
and
Then you don't
tell
have
me.
to have 4 decks of cards either, so or
Yeah,
whatever to.
yeah. They're aiming for December 2023, January 2024, just being a base edition. They seem to be taking it seriously, not going for a bunch of stretch goals or anything. Not that they aren't taking it seriously when they have stretch goals. No offense. But yeah, I trust that they will be able to do that. I don't know why. I don't have any history that I know of with these people, but
I trust they've got this under
they've
control
earned my trust.
with just this one project.
But yeah, 25 euros for the US. Shipping, different for different places. Yeah, probably not
It's
going
starting
back this one, but I
to,
would
yeah.
like to try either this or La Granja.
Yeah, I'd like to try it at some point, but yeah, I don't think we'll back it because yeah, it's getting with the shipping, it's gonna be over $100, and
Yeah,
from the little bit that I tried to watch, like your burrow moving around, I wasn't sure if it was doing anything that made me be like, oh yeah, that's a hook that I want to try. I didn't get that immediately. Not saying there isn't, but
yeah,
more of
yeah.
a try before we buy.
Yes. But yeah, onto this one, which you kind of can try before you buy, because it is in the universe or family of games, another family of games here, the Evolution family of games, which I've downloaded two of the apps, I believe. Forget which ones they were. I think I played each one maybe once. I didn't really dedicate time to actually learn them, so I didn't have a great time. Ended up deleting them, even though they are all pretty good looking, I will say.
A great time was not had by all.
But yeah, so this has got 100,000 and dollars funded and 2,100 backers, so pretty successful here. 5 days to go.
Mhm. Yeah, for some
And
reason, like this family of games, uh, I can believe it because to me, it seems like this game has had like I don't know tons of different types of games. Or I hear it all the time, and I don't know that it's the same game or if it's a kind
yeah,
of one in probably this family is my guess.
yeah, yeah. Oh, boy, what are the reviewers saying? All of them.
From what they were saying, it sounded like it's a
Yeah,
pretty quick, snappy turn type
yeah,
game, which I do like quite a bit. But then when I was looking at it, it seems like it's more of like a race game, like
yeah.
hit your three things. And
I think
sometimes I don't know if I love race games. I think it's a very, very hard thing to do um,
yes, yes.
correctly. And yeah, I think I see more race games that I'm like, mm, could be good. Like in a lot of the gameplay is good, but kind of the ending feels a little duddy to me sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
compared to some of them that I think do a really good job. I think off the top of my head, the one that I guess I like the most is Scythe, where you get points kind of a different way. I mean, you probably have a good chance if you're the one that ends the game via the kind of the race to the stars because they're worth kind of the most points. But there's other ways you get points, and potentially someone else could still win. So I think personally, I like that one a lot. But getting
Yeah.
back to this game, I suppose it's got some very bright artwork,
It
which I
does. So
liked.
they kind of went to another world, so they could just bring in any crazy
Do anything.
fantasy artwork they want. Because I think all the other ones that I know of are more based on the Earth, obviously, and animals living within it. And this one they went a little crazy with different crazy energy sources and
Hmm.
all these animals trying to evolve, or whatever the term was for it in this game, which you're kind of playing the cards and building these different traits for your animals, and you want to get them to evolve or transcend or whatever, get three of them to do that to win the game. So at least it's very clear on how you win the game.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it sounded like there was also a little bit of attacking in the game, which I think there are in the other ones as well, which I think is one thing that's kind of kept us from them. Not that we totally avoid that, but I don't know if that's for our entire play group.
Hmm.
Being
Yeah,
very-
I would agree. And I mean, to be honest, I do like the artwork on this, but I think I like the thought of like real world animals versus the fantasy ones for a
Yeah.
game like this personally. So I think I would prefer playing kind of one of those original games that they have. If the gameplay's similar, I guess I don't know how different. Uh, I've never played the other ones. I
Yeah.
don't know how different that is. If this is kind of similar to what you're doing in those other ones, or if they're just completely different games. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm probably a little bit more interested in going back and exploring kind of one of more. actual Earth, real life
There's
ones
a
versus
there's a
this.
lot of normal Earth animal games out there. I could
Currently,
use
there are.
something a little different. But yeah, so $30 for the retail version and 45 for the special edition. So that
I guess I
includes just
didn't
some
see what the.
extra content. I believe it was.
I like that it's a reasonable price, and I like that it's. Well, I guess 30 to 45, which is 50% of 30, so it is
So
going
it
up, I guess,
includes all the
significantly when you
extra
look at
stuff.
it that way. But
Yeah,
45 at the end of the day seems pretty cheap for a special or
yeah.
whatever edition. Usually, I don't know. These days they get pretty pricey. But
Yes, for sure.
so it seems pretty reasonably priced. But I think this is one that I don't know that I would add to the collection without trying. If someone was playing this one, I'd be willing to give it a try.
Yeah,
But I don't
yeah,
think this is one that I'm currently
yeah.
like
I,
needing to play.
I'd probably re-download those apps and try them out again before I'd be making a purchase here. But it does look amazing, and it seems pretty straightforward. Uh, Maybe not an entry level game, but maybe right around there
Hmm.
type of difficulty, from what I've heard. But
Mhm.
yeah, looking for February 2024 delivery. And then the last one we are covering for today is actually one that's not funded yet. They are 6,000, a little under 6,000 away from that, and 4 days ago. So I think they could reach that, especially with our push here.
Yes, they're gonna need all of our help, I think.
Uh,
Uh, but
so this
yeah,
is Ahotnik. Not sure. Maybe they have a friend named Nick, so then they were like, "Ooh, a hot Nick," and they just thought they'd make that the title of the game. And made them. No, not sure, but apparently that means some sort of mech
mhm,
thing that you're controlling in this game. That's the name of those, which, as you can kind of see here, um, it has some big minis on a board that you'll be battling. But it's interesting, semi cooperative, in that you are teaming up with one other player to control a mech together and try to be the first one to take out another mech.
mhm,
So I think this would be helped by higher player counts. Um,
mhm.
so probably not going to be one wheelback since we primarily play two players. But I thought that was interesting because you're playing cards out to a tableau to use different actions for the mech, and you're each doing that. And if you kind of match the types of cards you're playing, you get kind of an even better benefit. I thought that was pretty interesting, trying to kind of think on the same line as your teammate.
Mhm.
But yeah, and just a battling game between giant miniature mechs and monsters, demons that show up as well. So that throws in kind of an AI opponent that you can
Mhm.
beat up on as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I would agree that it did sound like an interesting thing where you're trying to, um, yeah, match up with it to get a more powerful benefit. I'm, you know, not looking into this one enough. I'm curious if it kind of will be like, oh, it makes sense for us to always do this card at this time, and then this.
Yeah,
If it's kind of, yeah, I'm not. I guess I don't know how many actions were there. Number
I
of
think
actions.
there were maybe 5 or 6.
Oh, so maybe 7 demon action tiles. Not actions. Uh, but
Uh,
yeah, I thought they looked interesting. I feel like we've seen a few boards that look like this recently.
oh yeah, yeah, kind
Other
of the
games.
big hex board type of look. Where's that? Yeah, there's quite a few that do have similar ones like that. Yeah, the pledges. So this will be about $64 for the light pledge, which I believe looks like it has cardboard miniatures there. Otherwise, up to 160. So a big jump
Hmm.
for it's like more
The core
deluxe
pledge.
figures, up to the Fallen Pledge, which starts to include expansions in there as well.
Mhm.
So that'd be about 40 more bucks on top of the other, and then all in pledge, which includes everything you could ever want if you are a fan of this game. That one is
Right.
260, which I feel like the last couple jumps aren't as big as the first one. To get into the deluxe first, it was probably the biggest jump. So it does make it a little more tempting to go even just a little more
Right.
to get more.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of one of those weird. Shocked at how different the prices were between, that initial core pledge and that original one.
Because I think it was
I'm just
100,
curious if this would be
100
doing
jump.
better if it wasn't as expensive.
Yeah.
So I was looking and I did the total right now versus because I was just curious when I saw only 166 backers. And I was like,
Yeah.
how much is that per backer? And it was nearly $200 a backer on average, which it's always crazy. I don't know. Did this company, is this the first game that they've done or?
This is their first created. Yep.
And I don't know, maybe they've been in the board game industry and worked with other things, but I feel like some of these it just gets a little bit more dicey, a little bit more scary.
I think he had. I think it did
when it's this
say
big of
for
a thing.
creator there, and I think I saw it. If it was this one, the guy controlling it was into shipping for a few years. That might not have been this project, but it might have been. I forget where I read it, but it might have been this one. I don't want to give credit or take credit where it is or isn't to, but
right.
Yeah, if that was.
But it could possibly be this one,
or where I read it.
Because
it was like a first created one. Not sure if it was this one.
No. But yeah, I would just probably just think about that too. If you are backing this one, not saying you can't, and not saying that they're doing anything wrong or anything. They're giving themselves plenty of time, which is good. It says November 2024, so it's not like they're promising, the end of 2023 or something.
Yeah.
Then I'd be a little more. But at the same time, I don't know. To me, that now it's kind of been a little bit more like gotta be a little. I think you got to be a little bit more. I don't know. Skeptical is the right word, but when games are going out that far, when it's kind of getting over a year, not saying that they can't, but why exactly do they need that long? Is it because the game isn't done, or are they just giving themselves some extra time since it's their first one? And and this isn't directed just at this project. I just mean in general.
Yeah, just
even any companies, because some companies that have even had a ton of projects will have it. Oh well, it'll be in 2 years or something, and it's like, why do you're a well-established company? Why do you need, or in this case, like a year and a half? Why do you need that long? Is the game not ready? Because you should kind of know the process at this point, and maybe it does take that long. I feel like I don't know enough about kind of all that goes into these sometimes, and but I think I've been a little bit more skeptical of that recently, just with the more of the gaming companies kind of struggling. I think, and struggling to deliver, and
the whole fiasco, shipping, all that skyrocketing, kind of shine a little light on maybe not being overly prepared, everyone being overly prepared or qualified, ready to take on unexpected.
Right. And might be more into like the, board game hobby aspect of it. And, maybe they want to bring these games into, the market and stuff, and they really enjoy that part of it. But doesn't necessarily also mean that they're business savvy. Because I know if I did ever make a game, I don't know that I'm business savvy enough that I would be able to also, try to do all this by myself. Because I think I would probably be, anyone who backed my game would probably be in a lot of trouble. I would think at some point, potentially.
I'll drive them to you myself.
Right.
The only way I know how to do it. But yeah, so don't apply all of this kind of negative talk just because this game is on the screen doesn't mean that we are directly attacking them.
No,
We just kind of went on talking about that.
that was my fault. I'm sorry.
There's
I
nothing.
talked.
There's,
It's nothing
there's
about
no
this
reason
specific game.
to believe these people will not be able to handle it. We wish them the best of luck in their project.
Yes, I hope it either backs, or I hope it fully funds, or else I hope. I guess I didn't check like the comments or stuff. Maybe there's some comments on, maybe what they could do to get some additional people to back. If they maybe relaunched, if they had to. But yeah, they've got 4 days. Hopefully, usually the end of it, there's a little bit of a push, but
Yep.
Yeah, I think if they could get to probably around 200, 250 backers, they'll probably make it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check this one out if that sounds interesting to you. Like I said, I think this will be, or like you said, it'll probably be a bigger group game, probably at least 4 players.
Yeah, so those were the 5 projects today. If was backing just one, or if we had to get one, of course, I don't even see any of the pictures when I jump to these, so I have a hard time even knowing which ones I'm looking at here. I almost want to rather go back to the original El Granja or La Granja.
Not even gonna look at that first one, huh?
The first, well, I knew I'd have to scroll up.
You knew he wouldn't be able to get back to the top.
This one, it is just a big investment that has probably got the most interest from me. But it's the one that I know is the farthest out there, probably not gonna play it. Second would probably be maybe El Burro. Maybe
that would be mine.
Familiar. Yeah.
I just really tend to enjoy Euro games. I like them usually, even if they're not my favorite. They're still a
something
average game for me. So I tend to like them quite a bit.
Yeah. I can't believe I picked it. I shouldn't have talked about picking just one. Now he's gonna be able to hold that over me forever that I chose El Burro.
Now we're gonna have to get this one.
Pepper loves those dry Euros.
He's always loved them. But yeah, that's our 5 projects for this week. Like I said, if you haven't commented below already, let us know which projects you're backing, or let us know what you think about a timeline. What's a proper timeline for a Kickstarter to have? Specifically, I'm looking at you. I forget the name. Ahotnik. No, I'm not looking at them. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't deserve me talking about it during that one. I'm sorry. But yeah. I hope you will join us next week when I rant about something else with the Kickstarter space. But otherwise, I hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.
You know what really grinds my gears?